Hi students, today we are going to do a review of element squares. Now this is something that you should have learned already while I was out on maternity leave, but I do want to review this as I'm going to review over the next couple weeks several things that we should have learned in chemistry just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. So, what we're looking at here is an element square. This element square I know is lithium, and I know that because the first thing that you should notice about an element square is that it should have a symbol on it. And we should have learned our symbols. We know that L, capital L, lowercase I, is the symbol for lithium. The next thing that we want to look at is this 3 on top. This 3 is called an atomic number, and it's going to tell us, I'm going to put this in parentheses, the atomic number is going to tell us the number of protons, and it's also going, and it's also going to tell us the number of electrons. Okay, so that's very important that we remember. All of that just comes from just simply looking at that top number, the number 3. Okay, this bottom number is a decimal, obviously, 6.94. This is called your atomic mass number. The atomic mass number. Now, this number tells us the number of protons plus neutrons together. Oh, and by the way, I should have said this. These symbols you should have learned while I was gone. P with a plus sign above it, that's a symbol for proton, lowercase e with a negative sign, that's the symbol for electrons. And N with a little 0 above it, that is the symbol for neutrons. Okay, so what does all this tell us? Well, we should be able, by looking at an element square, we should be able to pick out 3 pieces of information. We should be able to pick out the number of protons, the number of electrons, and the number of neutrons. So the first 2 I feel like are pretty easy because if you read the notes right here, that top number is going to tell us the protons and the electrons. So pretty easy. Because that top number is a 3, well, that means we've got 3 protons. And we also have 3 electrons. Now, the number of neutrons is a little bit tricky. Not too much, though. You do have to do a little bit of math. We need to round this decimal. So the first thing that we're going to do is round decimal. And I am looking at a 6.94. We want to round it to the nearest whole number. So basically that means this will either stay what it is or go up 1. It's either going to stay a 6 or go up to 7. I look at this number. This is a 9. If this number is 5 or higher, this number is going to go up 1. If this number is 4 or lower, then that number 6 will stay. Since it is a 9, it's going to round up. This 6 is going to round up to 7. So I'm going to, I always come out to the side here and just show a little rounding symbol. 6.94 is going to round to 7. That's what it rounds to. That number 7 is not the number of neutrons. No, no, no. It's the number of protons plus neutrons. So what I have to do is I have to do a little math problem. I have to take that 7 that I just rounded, and I have to subtract out the number of protons, because protons is in there as well. So I have to subtract out the number of protons, which was 3, and that gives me a 4. So, based on just looking at this element square, again, you should be able to pick out the number of protons, the number of electrons, and the number of neutrons. So what I'm going to do for you guys now is I'm going to give you a couple more squares, and I want you to work them out for yourself. Let's see here. I'm going to give you sodium. the square for sodium. It's square number 11. The symbol is Na, and the atomic mass is 22.99. Okay, so this is your first problem. I guess we can call these homework problems. And I want you to tell me what's the number of protons, the number of electrons, the number of neutrons. Okay, that's the first problem. Second problem. Let's go with nitrogen. That is the 7th square. Symbol is N. And we have 14.007. There's your second problem. Tell me the number of protons, electrons, and neutrons. Your third problem, and by the way, I want you to do 4 of these. We're going to go with chlorine. Chlorine is the 17th element. Its symbol is Cl, and it is 35.45. Okay, so there's your number 3. Tell me the protons, electrons, and neutrons. And last but not least, your number 4. We are going to go, with oxygen, and that is number 8, symbol O, and the atomic mass is 15.999. All right, so let me zoom out here a little bit. There we go. All right, so there's element square review. You should be able to tell me the number of protons, electrons, and neutrons. If you have any questions, send me a message in LiveGrades. Bye.